Hey, Masood, thank you so much for having me today. So, thanks for the warm introduction. I'm just gonna share my screen. Bear with me. Okay. I'm hoping you guys can see that.
Yes, we can.
Brilliant. So let me start by introducing myself. I prepared a PPA for myself, and for those who don't know what a PPA is, it's a way of introducing yourself in Maori. It tells a story of places and people you're connected to. So, kia ora tātou, ko mangare tamonga, ko manaka te awa, no tamaki ahau, ko Jamil toko whanua, ko Kainaat toko inga. So what I'm going to talk to you about today is going to be a really nice segue from what Guillermo was talking about. I'm going to start by addressing the word diversity. In the Americas, diversity is strongly associated with racial diversity. But as the citizens of the world have become increasingly mobile and formally separated cultures have begun intermixing more frequently than ever before, the term's got more depth to it now. So it's now including more unique factors of being, such as color, ethnicity, language, nationality, sexual orientation, and it's even extended to experiences, perspectives, expertise, and my favorite, tattoos. It is a well-recognized fact that diversity is a fundamental conversation for society today, let alone for organizational success, and it's moving away from being a necessary thing that we have to adjust to something of a celebration of otherness. So this social paradigm shift towards diverse societies, it has led to significant research to help us understand how to best work with diverse workforce. And to Guillermo's point earlier, the findings are quite tremendous. Research has proven that culturally diverse groups brings together long-term benefits for organizations. It creates cognitive diversity, it lowers groupthink, and it increases innovation. That is the power of diversity. Now, a caveat to that, research also proves that when groups of diverse backgrounds comes together, in the beginning, they actually struggle before they actually start to perform. That's actually very similar to Tuckman's theory of team formation as well. First, when a team comes together, they go through a period of storming before they norm and perform. And to get from one phase to the next, they actually need some hand-holding. And this hand-holding can be in the form of coaching, facilitation, or what I like to call a little bit of TLC. So taking the same TLC concept, it applies to organizations and their approach to diversity. Organizations need to understand that they have a very key role to play here in unlocking the power of diversity. They need to do more than just ticking the box and having a diverse workforce. Jen Hutchinson touched on this as well earlier, that diversity is important, and what Guillermo said about inclusion, that's the next thing that needs to happen to make the diversity, make the magic of diversity happen. There's an active role for organizations to play here. And as part of a response to COVID, we need to step up our game in this. We've had a use case here proven for productivity, and we really need to do something about it here. Now, I'd like to share some experiences of mechanisms we've used, I've seen, and from my own coaching experience that have worked in building this comfort. So organizations need to invest time in building mechanisms that not just bring together differences, but build acceptance of these differences. In our world of business agility, we ask organizations to build psychological safety. It allows for diversity to flourish. I'll give you an example from my coaching experience. I've seen teams that I've been coaching struggle with performance due to being unable to accept each other and the differences in the team. I've seen this, witnessed it with my own two eyes, that it's actually restricted team performance, as individuals in the team have had to put in extra effort to conceal physical aspects of who they are. I'll give you a personal example on this. At one time, when I first started my management consulting career, I had to hide my tattoo sleeve when the air conditioner in the room broke down. And I know for a fact how uncomfortable I was, but it restricted me and it did affect my performance. So let's talk about psychological safety's role in unlocking diversity. in unlocking the power of diversity? I believe it's key. Research shows that if diversity is not systematically set up correctly, and the key word here is systematically, it can actually have a negative impact on team performance. It could make individuals in a group feel isolated, force them to retract, or make them feel like they don't fit in, and thus not perform. So if there are no mechanisms in a place for someone to be themselves at their place of work and not be accepted for who they are, it affects their mana, it affects their mahi. So certain measures need to be taken to mitigate that. And some of these I can talk about are the likes of what we use at Deloitte. We have an attitude for diversity at Deloitte where we bring aspects of our uniqueness to life that aren't visible, and we make them physically visible. I hope you guys are following the thinking around this. So the example of that is we use our pronouns in our signatures. It's a small effort, but it's a profound one. It makes acceptance of sexual orientation literally a company-wide norm, because everybody gets to state what it is and there's no critique or questions around it, but it's an accepted norm. Similarly, in the world of business agility, I can use the example of social contracts. Social contracts can help bring the uniqueness of the team feel like a norm. We use social contracts to set up teams to accept that we're all different and that it's actually a norm to have a diverse team these days, and that there's value in this uniqueness. Now, speaking of new norms, and following on from Jen Hutchinson, what she said about what we've learned from COVID, she's hit the nail on the head around that. Recently, something amazing has happened with us. As we as a nation have turned to working remotely, definitely in my experience, I have found that we've flourished in productivity. As we have Zoomed in, we've shared our dogs, our cats, our food, our drinks, our children, our home. This pandemic has actually broken a barrier between who we are at home and who we are at work. It's a very positive unintended consequence. This is an important learning for us. It not only proves that the physical aspects of a workplace have a strong impact on who we are, how we perform, how we feel at work, it makes for a strong case that to bring our whole self to work and to be productive, we must have environments that make us feel proud of our uniqueness, make us feel comfortable. And it's important we continue to focus on bringing more physical social contracts to life to build psychological safety and thus unlock the power of diversity.